The text message arrived at 11:47 p.m. 3 words, no explanation. We need to talk. Keir Starmer stared at his phone. He knew that number. Andy Burnham, Manchester mayor, old colleague, old rival, and increasingly old threat. Because Burnham wasn't just running Manchester anymore. He was building something bigger, something that looked a lot like a leadership campaign. And Starmer, he was watching his own party start to wonder if they'd backed the wrong man. How did it get here? Rewind to July 2024, Labor's landslide victory. Starmer became prime minister, triumphant, secure, the man who dragged Labor back from the wilderness. Andy Burnham stayed in Manchester, elected mayor for the third time. Popular, effective, respected. Most people assumed Burnham's national ambitions were finished. He'd tried for Labor leadership twice, lost both times. Settled for regional politics. Safe assumption, right? Wrong. Because while Starmer governed cautiously from Westminster, Burnham was governing boldly from Manchester. Free bus travel for young people, affordable housing programs, public transport renationalization, real action on homelessness. Everything Labor voters wanted nationally, Burnham was delivering locally. And people noticed. October 2024, Labor's first budget hit, tax rises, spending cuts, careful, cautious, fiscally responsible. Also, deeply unpopular. Working people felt betrayed. You said you'd tax the rich, not us. Public services felt abandoned. Where's the investment you promised? And Andy Burnham? He gave an interview that sent shockwaves through Westminster. Asked about Labor's budget, he didn't offer the usual supportive platitudes. Instead, I think we need to be bolder. People voted for change. They're getting continuity, not a direct attack on Starmer, but close enough. Number 10 noticed. So did political journalists. The whispers started. Is Burnham positioning himself? November 2024. Burnham announced a major infrastructure project in Manchester. Publicly funded, ambitious, popular. Then he said something that made Starmer's team nervous. This is what Labor government should look like everywhere. Investing in communities, not just managing decline. The subtext was obvious. Unlike what's happening in Westminster, Labor MPs started taking notice. This wasn't just a mayor doing his job. This was someone building a national profile. December 2024 brought the first direct confrontation. Starmer's government announced cuts to local government funding, including Manchester. Burnham's response wasn't private negotiation. It was public defiance. He held a press conference. The government is asking us to do more with less. That's not sustainable. Someone needs to say it. I'm saying it. Direct challenge, public criticism from within his own party. Starmer couldn't ignore it. His team briefed journalists. Andy needs to remember we're all on the same team. Translation, shut up and fall in line. Burnham's response, give another interview doubling down. I'm Labor to my core, but being Labor means fighting for working people, even when that means challenging our own government. The battle lines were drawn. January 2025, as something shifted in Westminster, Labor backbenchers started grumbling, quietly at first, then louder. Starmer's approval ratings were falling. Policy wasn't bold enough. Leadership felt uninspiring. And whenever MPs discussed alternatives, one name kept appearing, Andy Burnham. He connects with voters Starmer can't reach. He's got northern credibility. He actually delivers things. Starmer's team tried dismissing it. Burnham's a mayor, not a national leader. But the comparison was damaging and increasingly frequent. February 2025, Burnham made his boldest move yet. He announced plans to bring Manchester's buses, trams, and trains under public control. Full renationalization. Exactly what Labor voters wanted nationally. Exactly what Starmer wasn't delivering. The contrast was deliberate, the timing calculated. And the public reaction? Enthusiastic support. Polls showed 68% of voters backed Burnham's transport plan. Only 42% approved of Starmer's national transport policy. Labor MPs from northern constituencies started asking uncomfortable questions. Why can't we do this nationally? Starmer's answer. It's complicated. We need private sector partnerships sounded weak compared to Burnham's. We're just doing it. March 2025, the media started openly discussing it. Political commentators writing columns, is Andy Burnham Labor's real leader? TV debates asking, could Burnham replace Starmer? Opinion, polls testing, Burnham versus Starmer. Who would you prefer? The results. Closer than number 10 wanted to admit. Among Labor voters, Burnham was more popular than Starmer. Among Northern voters, it wasn't even close. Burnham won by massive margins. Starmer tried ignoring it, tried focusing on governing, but Burnham wasn't letting him ignore it. Every success in Manchester became implicit criticism of Westminster failures. Every bold policy announcement highlighted Starmer's caution. Every popular initiative reminded voters what Labor could be if only the national leadership had courage. April 2025. Local elections delivered a verdict. Labor held most seats, but the swing was disappointing. The enthusiasm was gone. Voters liked Labor locally, questioned it nationally. And in Manchester, record turnout, massive Labor majorities, Andy Burnham's personal vote soaring. The contrast was devastating. Post election analysis was brutal for Starmer. Labor winning despite national leadership, not because of it. One focus group quote went viral. I'd vote for Andy Burnham for PM tomorrow. Starmer, he's fine, just fine. And that's the problem. May 2025, Burnham gave the speech that changed everything. Labor's local government conference, Manchester hosting, Burnham keynoting. His speech started safe, thanking activists, celebrating local victories, then he pivoted. But we need to be honest. People voted for transformation. They're getting administration. They voted for hope. They're getting management. Pause. The room went silent. I believe in this government. I believe in this party. But I also believe we can be bolder. We must be bolder. Because if we don't deliver the change, people voted for someone else will promise it instead. Standing ovation. Not polite applause, genuine enthusiasm. The speech was everywhere within hours. Social media, news coverage, political analysis, and the interpretation unanimous. Burnham had just launched his leadership campaign without officially launching it. Starmer's team went into damage control. Loyal MPs gave interviews defending the PM cabinet ministers, praised his steady leadership. But the momentum had shifted. Labor members started wondering, what if Burnham's right? June 2025, private polling leaked. Labor's internal numbers showed Burnham beating Starmer in a hypothetical leadership contest, 52% to 48%. Not decisive, but shocking. An incumbent prime minister, less than a year into power, trailing a regional mayor in party popularity. Starmer's authority was crumbling. July 2025, 1 year since Labor's victory. Starmer marked the anniversary with a speech about achievements and steady progress. The same day, Burnham announced Manchester would become the UK's first real living wage city, every public sector worker earning above poverty wages. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Starmer, talking about long-term plans. Burnham, delivering immediate change. Media coverage focused more on Burnham's announcement than Starmer's speech. The symbolism was devastating. August 2025, summer recess brought no relief for Starmer. Burnham spent August touring northern constituencies, officially supporting local Labor MPs. Unofficially, building a national network, meeting activists, listening to concerns, making promises about what Labor could achieve with the right leadership. Never mentioning Starmer by name, never directly challenging him, but everyone understood the message. Labor members started organizing quiet WhatsApp groups, private meetings, discussions about when, not if. September 2025 party conference season arrived. Labor's conference should have been triumphant, celebrating 1 year in power. Instead, it felt tense, divided, uncertain. Starmer's speech was professional, competent, uninspiring. He talked about difficult decisions and long-term thinking and responsible governance. The delegates applauded politely. Then Burnham spoke not as a challenger, but as Manchester mayor. His speech was electric, personal stories, bold commitments, genuine passion. Labor isn't about managing the status quo. We're about transforming it. Manchester proves it's possible. Britain deserves the same. Standing ovation, genuine enthusiasm, delegates on their feet chanting his name. Starmer watched from the front row, his face carefully neutral. But everyone in that hall understood what just happened. Burnham had shown what Labor leadership could look like, and it wasn't Starmer. October 2025, the first Labor MP broke ranks publicly. A backbencher from a northern seat gave an interview. I think Andy Burnham represents the change our voters want. If there were a leadership contest, I'd seriously consider supporting him. One MP. But it opened the floodgates. Within days, anonymous quotes from senior labor figures flooded the media. Starmer's doing his best, but Burnham connects better. We need Northern authenticity, not London lawyer professionalism. Andy would win us the next election. Starmer might lose it. Number 10, tried to shut down the speculation. Cabinet ministers gave interviews praising Starmer's leadership. But the damage was done. The party was openly discussing replacing him.
November 2025 crisis point. By-election in a safe Labor seat. Should have been easy. Labor won, but the majority collapsed from 15,000 to 3,000. Exit polls showed why. We like Labor locally, not convinced nationally. And when asked who they prefer as PM, more said Burnham than Starmer. The whispers became shouts. Starmer's a liability, Burnham's the solution. Labor MPs started calculating when could they move against him. Party rules required 20% of MPs to trigger a leadership challenge. Quietly, supporters started counting numbers. December 2025, the meeting everyone anticipated. Starmer requested private talks with Burnham. No staff, no witnesses. What was said? Nobody knows for certain. But sources close to both reported heated exchanges. Starmer reportedly demanded loyalty. You're undermining the government. Burnham reportedly demanded change. I'm trying to save it from your caution. The meeting ended without resolution, and within hours, both sides were briefing journalists their version. Starmer's team, Andy needs to decide if he's loyal or ambitious. Burnham's team, Keir needs to decide if he's leading or just occupying number 10. The gloves were off. December 20th, 2025 today. The situation is unprecedented. A prime minister 1 year into power, facing internal rebellion led by his own party's most popular figure. Starmer technically has the power. He's PM. He controls the government machine. But Burnham has something more dangerous. He has the party's heart. Labor members prefer him. Northern voters trust him. The base wants him. And increasingly, Labor MPs are wondering, should we make the switch before the next election? The calculation is brutal. Keep Starmer safe, stable, probably lose seats next election. Switch to Burnham risky, chaotic, but might actually win. Starmer's team insists this is media speculation. The PM has full party support. Burnham's team insists he's not challenging. And he's focused on Manchester. Nobody believes either claim because everyone in Westminster knows what's happening. A leadership battle is coming not openly yet, but building inevitably. The cameras turn to Manchester. Andy Burnham stands at a podium, announcing another bold policy, but his eyes are on Westminster. The cameras turn to number 10. Keir Starmer sits in meetings, defending his record, but watching over his shoulder. Two men, same party. Competing visions of what Labor should be. One will lead Labor into the next election. One will be remembered as the leader who couldn't hold on. The question isn't if this battle will happen. It's when. And who wins? Starmer has power now. But power is fragile when your party doubts you. Burnham has popularity. But popularity isn't enough without the votes to win. Something has to give. The party can't stay divided forever. December 20th, 2025. The countdown has begun. How long does Starmer have? How patient will Burnham be? When do Labor MPs decide they've seen enough? The answers will determine Britain's political future. But one thing is certain, this isn't over. It's barely begun.